To my LGBTQ plus community, you know that you can only get an HDB flat when you reach 35 years old. But please don't wait till you're 35 to watch this video and end up in a homeless trap. As an out and proud realtor serving the LGBTQ plus community, I meet many singles looking for me to help them find their first home. Very often, I find a lot of them falling into this trap. Because buying a property is not something we do every day, and due to the lack of resources, many do not know the options they have when it comes to buying an HDB flat. And a lot of them did not plan and start saving earlier. So they may realize too late when they do not have enough money for the down payment for the unit they wanted. So they end up having to delay their plans or opt for a cheaper and older flat with a shorter lease. And by doing so, they are unknowingly putting themselves into a bet on a home that does not have much growth in the future. I have written many articles and presented webinars on the topic on public housing for LGBTQ. I will also share the link to my blog in the comment box below if you want to read more. If you're ready, let's go. So it's important to know that there is currently no public housing policy that spells out the housing rights of an LGBTQ plus person in Singapore. By the fact that the same-sex marriage in Singapore is not legal, naturally all LGBTQ plus will have to be single in the eye of our law. And by that, you can only qualify for the Single Singapore Citizen Scheme, which allow you to buy an HDB flat at the age of 35. The options for single Singaporeans above 35 are, you can buy a build-to-order or BTO or Sale of Balance directly from HDB. But you're limited to 2-room BTO in non-mature estate, and there is an income cap of 7,000 to be eligible. Or alternatively, you can buy a resale HDB flat from the open market with no income and open to various layout types, except for flats under the public location housing model. All right, let's talk a little bit more about BTO and Sales of Balance unit. The upside is that you're getting a brand new unit heavily subsidized from the government. If your income is below $4,500, you'll also be entitled to an enhanced housing grant of up to $40,000 for first-time single home buyers. Now, on the downside, buying a BTO is like buying a lottery. You're not guaranteed a unit during each BTO launch. There's usually a lot of competition and each launch is often oversubscribed. So you will have to go into a ballot to draw for a chance to book an BTO flat. And the same goes for the Sales of Balance unit too. It's very often snapped up very quickly when made available, usually about twice a year. Now the other major downer for BTO for singles is the restriction to only 2-room flexi flats in non-mature estate. There is also a long waiting time of about 4 to 5 years for construction and a compulsory minimum occupation period of 5 years. That will set you back by almost 10 years before you can resell the flat. And for the singles starting at 35, it's already a very late start. We don't have much time left if we want to upgrade to a bigger unit later on. So for many singles and LGBTQ+, they will turn to the resale market for more options. The pros of resale HDB flat is that you can buy out of the resale market with no income, size and location restriction. The government is also giving out first-time home buyers with lower income additional grants to help them with their flat purchase. With the recent budget 2023, single first-timers with income below 7,000 can get 40,000 in single grant, an additional 40,000 of enhanced housing grant if you're making less than $4,500. A proximity housing grant of 10 to 15,000 is also given to those who choose to live near their parents or with their parents. But buying a resale will also come with its cons as well. First of all, resale HDB flats have hit an all-time high since 2 years ago. Sellers are trying to sell at record prices, resulting in buyers having to pay cash over valuation to secure the unit. So buying an ideal HDB flat can cost a lot more than BTO, and not forgetting the amount of renovation costs you have to pay to update the place to your own liking. Finally, all HDB flats are on a 99-year-old lease, and you should note that the value will come down to zero at the end of the lease. This lease decay is probably the #1 reason why older HDB flats today are cheaper, and it will continue its decline as it gets older. Next, let me touch on the topic of LGBTQ plus couples. Because same-sex marriage is not recognized in Singapore, a queer couple will not be able to form a family nucleus to purchase a flat together under the public or the fiancé scheme. However, they can tap on the joint single schemes that allow for 2 to 4 singles above 35 to jointly buy a BTO or resale HDB flat together. That said, I normally suggest couples who are financially comfortable to each buy a resale HDB flat of their own instead of using the joint single scheme. The reason is very simple. Buying a BTO flat as joint singles are still limited to the tiny 2-room unit in non-mature estate. At only 35 or 45 square meter size, a 2-room flexi flats are really very small for 2 persons to stay in. And BTO does not award singles grants of up to 40,000 per person to both parties. So the chances of getting a higher grant is very low. And most importantly, in Singapore, each person is only entitled to one property under their name. Any more than one property will be subjected to the hefty additional buyer's stamp duty. So why lock 2 names into one property? It may sound like a romantic idea, but it's definitely not a financially wise move. Now here's another tip. If you really want to buy something together, try applying for an executive condo together. Many people actually are not aware of this. Joint singles up to 4 persons are eligible to apply for an EC during its launch. EC is another class of public housing that is heavily subsidized by the government and built like a private condo. It will eventually become privatized after its 10-year mark. EC is a very good investment if you have just one bet at subsidized housing, as many owners have been known to make a handsome 6-figure profit when it enters the resale EC market. But the only catch is that EC for joint singles are not eligible for grant, and there is a household income ceiling of $16,000 to qualify. In Singapore, 80% of our population lives in an HDB flat, so it's very likely that you, as an LGBTQ+, will also be considering an HDB flat as your first home option. So please don't wait till you're 35 years old. If you have some burning questions and want to have a private chat with me, I'm only a phone call away or happy to chat with you over Zoom or a nice coffee at your nearest cafe. And in the next episode, I will go deeper into the numbers and show you how much it really costs to buy a BTO or resale flat in Singapore. My contact is in my bio attached. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. My name is William from William Tan Real Estate and the House of Pride, celebrating diversity and inclusion in home ownership for everyone.